What's up, my YouTube family? Sergeant Graybeard back with another Division 2 video. Today is Tuesday, June 29th, and as always, I hope this message finds you healthy and safe. In today's video, my friends, we're going to be going over the weekly vendor reset for DC, New York, and the Dark Zone. I'm going to be talking about some other weekly reminders that I like to pass along, and for those of you that want to jump to the vendors themselves, you can go to the 2-minute and 30-second mark. Now, if you happen to be new here, first of all, welcome. Secondly, feel free to hit that subscribe button. We would love for you to be a part of our gaming family. And if you enjoyed this or found it helpful at all, take a quick second and hit that like button. It really does help us out. Finally, as most of you know, we have giveaways here, and our current one is for a PlayStation 5, and all you need to do to enter is either subscribe here or follow us on Twitter. Either way is fine. The winner will be announced this upcoming Sunday, July 4th, and as I've mentioned in every previous video, watching our content is not a requirement to win. Only watch the things here you may enjoy. That's why you have the option of entering via Twitter. Having said that, let's get into today's video. So there happens to be a new target that becomes available today. It is Wraith, and during this time when the new targets come out, you are getting double XP. However, keep in mind you only get that double XP for the first 15 shade levels. After that, it turns off on its own. Moving on to this week's invaded missions, they are Camp White Oak, Jefferson Trade Center, and DCD headquarters. Now, clearing those will gain you access to Manning National Zoo, and once you clear that, you'll then have access to Tidal Basin. Today is also the day that the weekly projects reset. It is 3 great ways to earn exotic caches in the game. You have the weekly summit project, you have the weekly shade requisition, and for those of you that have the ability, you also have the weekly legendary mission as well. Finally, before we move on to the vendors, I'd like to show you the location of the Snitch on a weekly basis. And for those of you that may not know, finding the Snitch every Tuesday is how you gain access to the gunrunner Cassie Mendoza every Wednesday. I'm currently right at the 1040 safe house, right by the 1040 safe house. You're going to roll up, you'll see him here. And now if you get here and he doesn't happen to be at this location, I suggest resetting your control points, and that should have him show up within 1 or 2 attempts. Now moving on to the vendors themselves, my friends. Most of you know by now I pretty much rip through these vendors. However, I strongly suggest take your time because you're always looking for something that can improve your character and your recalibration library as well. So here we start off with the test subject. If you do not have this AR, pick it up. It is highly efficient, fantastic gun. Not the best roll, but still pretty decent. We have a Banshee here. I need a better reload speed, so I'm going to pick that up just to have for my library. Below that, we have a Sitar. I love that weapon. That's really not the best roll. Then we have a handgun. Pretty not okay Providence piece right there. Then we have some Fenris, mods, and skill attachments. Now let's make our way to the clan vendor. Here we start off with the contractor's gloves. If you do not own these as yet, definitely pick them up. They are a must-have for any inventory because of that attribute, 8% damage to armor. Below that, we have some Aces and 8s body armor, pretty decent roll right there. Then we have some Eclipse Protocol knee pads. You can re-roll that attribute any way you want. And then we have some more Aces and 8s. Where was this last week when I was actually farming for Aces and 8s? Like, that always seems to happen. Like, things go on sale a week later. Next, we have a pretty decent FAL. I personally have been farming for this weapon forever. It's really not the best roll. I may come back later and pick it up. Then we have a PDR, pretty okay shotgun. We have a bag. Handgun, pretty good knee pads there. Really nice knee pads here. Definitely recommend picking these up. Now onto the mods and skill attachments. Let's see what we have. Okay, here's a really good one. It's 11% protection from elites. If you don't have any of these, I strongly recommend to pick them up. And as we move on to the campus, the reason I say that is for many gamers out there, including myself, those seem to be hard to find sometimes. So if they're on sale, I recommend picking them up. Back to the vendor here, we started with the Quiet Roar, and now we have a marksman rifle. Next we have an LMG. I can improve my crit chance, so I'm going to grab this. Below that, we have a Badger Tough, Badger Tough mask. Pretty, again, okay there. Same thing with the holster, then some mods and skill attachments. Now let's make our way to the theater. And as we roll up, let's see what we have, starting with the Firm Handshake. These are really, really good gloves. I know they've been on sale a lot recently, but again, if you do not have them, pick them up. Then we have a really nice shotgun there, pretty good. Moving down to the next rifle, pretty again. It's at, that like 75% mark there. Then we have some gloves, some knee pads, anything with the mods and skill attachments. That seems to do it. Now let's make our way to the first Dark Zone West. Most of you know by now that I typically don't go into the dark zone really that much because of the state that it's in right now. Now, when it comes to the vendors, I definitely recommend checking them out every week because if there happens to be a dark zone exclusive item for sale, that is a good time to try to pick it up. Anyway, getting back to the items here, we started with the Everlasting Gaze, pretty decent rifle right there. Nothing else to really speak of here. Let's look at the mods and skill attachments. Yep, that'll do it once again. Now let's make our way to Dark Zone South. We begin here with the Grudge SMG. It's a really good weapon, but for me personally, if I'm going to buy something from a DZ vendor, I want the stats to be higher than that. Then we had another SMG, an AR, handgun. What do we have next? Eclipse Protocol. What's our next one? Tip of the Spear. Nothing really to speak of yet. Had a backpack there, then some body armor. Now, as always, finishing with mods and skill attachments. Now let's make our way to the last Dark Zone, Dark Zone East. Let's see what we have here, my friends. We are starting off with the Carnage LMG. Wouldn't really get this one. I mean, if that bottom attribute was different, I'd say pick it up. I mean, it's something, like for instance, for me, I could add it to my recalibration library, but it doesn't really seem worth my time with a marksman rifle, then another LMG, a mask, holster, mask. Below that, we do have some y'all gear. This happens to be a good holster, but the roll itself is not that great. I wouldn't, bother wasting your time there. Mods and skill attachments. Now let's make our way to New York and the last two vendors. And as I start to wrap this video up, I want to once again remind you to really take your time when going through these vendors. I, for instance, have a character on PlayStation that had just started that agent a little while ago, and I know a lot of these weapons and pieces of gear could really help out. I'd also like to take a moment and thank you all for your continued support. You guys are family. You're absolutely amazing. As always, please remember any questions, comments, feedback, please let me know in the comment section down below. At this point, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out. However, as I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. But most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
Hey, Agent.